Stop copying big brand content. If you are a small creator or brand, you have no business copying their content or even trying to do creative content like them, because it is just going to fall flat. And I know this to be true because those major brands do not have great engagement rates. Some do, but most do not. And if you actually look at their platform, you will see that they have all these millions of followers, they've got all these millions of views, but they only have a couple thousand comments, a couple thousand likes. And to you, you might think, oh my gosh, they've got like 10,000 likes on this one video. That must be great, right? But actually, in comparison to the amount of views that it had, it's not great at all. So what do I mean by an engagement rate? Well, 5 to 10% engagement rate is very great for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. YouTube, it's 1%, but let's focus on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Knowing that it's 5%, if they get 1 million views, they sure as must have 50,000 likes on that post. If they don't, then you know that they really don't have a great engagement rate. So you might think to yourself, well then, why do they get all these views? They get them because they're usually spending millions of dollars in advertising, both online and offline, billboards, commercials, and they're really not truly organic likes at that point. They might even be pushing those posts and boosting them through ads. So you really can't compete with $1 million advertising budget when you're a small brand. I mean, you can't even compete with a couple $100,000 in ads a month. So how do you hack this system and actually become one of those brands that consistently goes viral seemingly overnight? Well, you have to follow a structure, and you also got to do your research. So look at your niche and look at it and say, okay, who are these smaller creators? These smaller brands that are getting 5 but better 10% engagement rates on their videos. And you are going to start to notice a pattern. And the pattern is consistently adding value to people's life and telling stories. If you can do those two things very well, you are going to have great content. People consume content for them. They don't consume it for you. So if you're constantly trying to tell people to sell and buy something from you, it's just not going to work out for you. And you are not going to grow your social media. Now, the reason social media growth is very important before you even run ads is because it will lower your cost. Because they know, the algorithm, that you are posting quality content and they are going to reward that with a smaller cost per impression. And that is very important in advertising. So on top of that, you can sell organically if you understand this viral hacking format. We're going to go through that right now. And this format is just a simple storytelling format with a call to action. And in terms of sales and in terms of trying to offer solutions, because business is all about providing solutions to people's problems, you've got to, one, grab their attention. That is the first thing. So grabbing their attention. A lot of people will call this a hook. You got 3 seconds, no more than 3 seconds to grab their attention. Hook them in. And how are you going to do that? You are going to do it through a trifecta. You're going to put text overlay on. You're going to put something interesting in the video that would make somebody stop and actually watch your video. And then 3, you're going to have something interesting that you're verbally saying. So something visual, verbal, and then a text overlay. And if you need support with this, you start looking at these viral videos on your competitors and you'll start to see the pattern. You can also, with the power of AI, use Claude, ChatGPT to brainstorm these hooks based on the video that you are trying to make. So number 2, you've got to share a pain point. What is their problem? You have to tell them their problem. They might be problem unaware, and you've got to show them that they have a problem. So feed into those emotional pain points. Tell them a story. This is where that story part comes through. Telling them a story of maybe a problem that you had, why you created this product or a problem somebody else had, and basically showing them that there is a big problem here. Then you're going to bridge that gap. And what bridging the gap is you probably just put them into this level of pain of like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain now. And you're going to look at that, somebody maybe who has dry skin and they've tried every lotion, nothing works. And you have a tallow business and you've showed them the story of how you spent years having psoriasis and eczema and just cracked heels, blah, blah, blah. You've tried everything under the sun, right? And so then you bridge the gap and then you say, well, I took matters into my own hands and I created this tallow that was grass-fed from the cow I bought or whatever. And then you're bridging the gap for them that, oh, there is a solution out there and you have it. And then you have to give them the call to action. And so that call to action is what you want them to do about it. So you might say, go learn more on our page, or go join our newsletter, go check out our new lotion, whatever it is. That's where the call to action comes in. But you do not want to make it out there. You want to make it subtle, especially where a lot of people, this is where a lot of people get it wrong, right? They just try to make a hard sale. And sometimes, especially when you are on social media, you don't necessarily want to make the sale right on there. But you might want to say, check out our quiz, learn about your skin type, whatever, providing some type of value for them. You want to give them something that they can take away from this video. And the whole point is that you want them to do whatever action you want them to do. It doesn't need to be a sale though. It could be like follow for more recipes or follow for more skincare tips. But ultimately you have to follow the structure. Now, storytelling, like you know, every movie has a structure. The details in the movies change, but there's always a setting up of the story, there's a climax, and there's a resolution. And that's why you like every movie, because it's set up in a way that you know what is coming next. And that's how people like to consume media. So we see it in movies, you just have to translate it here. Now, going into storytelling, why do founder stories work so well? Because people love the journey. You're giving them a little bit of hope, a mini movie on social media. I'm not talking about something super long, but maybe like a quick minute or two about, you know, what they need to know about your brand. Like I would 100% buy tallow from a company where a mother made it because her daughter dealt with eczema and nothing worked. And then she bought a cow and then the rest is history, right? Versus a company with no story, but I might assume they're exploiting farmers and cows, and I don't know, but they might be exploiting them, and then upcharging the tallow by like 5 times what it's worth, right? Because we don't know unless you tell us the story. We don't know that your tallow is home-based. We don't know. Whatever item that you have to tell them. And that's why storytelling becomes such an important part. And see, I've constantly seen this with the clients that I work with that will come to me and they're just purely not ready for advertising. Some will do a trial because they want to make a quick buck, but almost every time I can promise you they are not ready to advertise. And they wonder why they are not making the sales that they want online. They're not making sales online because they're not doing anything of value online. A lot of times, especially smaller brands, if they're at an artisan fair or a farmer's market or expo or whatever it is, they are incredible storytellers. They tell stories of their customers. They tell people about the journey. But when it comes to being online, they don't translate that. They don't make a video of that. So such easy low-hanging fruit. So start filming yourself at your retail store or the farmers markets or the expos, and there is your content right there. The stories that you naturally say to your customers. If you're not bringing that online, your website is like setting up your products on the side of a road and walking away. No one is going to go approach that and no one's going to buy. So start sharing your story and see what happens.